Hello and welcome to Raj Sabha TV. You're watching The Big Picture with your host Rajat Kane. In this last episode of the show for the year 2018, we'll talk about elections in Bangladesh. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has secured a massive victory in the parliamentary polls for third straight time. This victory makes her longest-serving Prime Minister of the country, giving her 4 terms. Now, as per the official reports from Dhaka, the ruling party, Awami League, and its allies have won 288 seats out of 300 parliamentary seats contested, well surpassing the tally in the previous polls. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also congratulated Sheikh Hasina on a massive victory, saying her victory was a big reflection of Bangladesh's stunning development under her dynamic leadership. Both India and Bangladesh share long and special ties, and stability of Bangladesh is prized by India given the strategic and political significance of the Southeast Asian nation. The 71-year-old leader, the daughter of Bangladesh's founding statesman, Shiekh Mujibur Rehman, has been lauded for boosting economic growth of the country as well as handling Rohingya crisis, considered to be a massive humanitarian crisis to have hit the region. Meanwhile, the opposition party has questioned the polls, which saw violence in some pockets and death of 17 persons. The main opposition party in Bangladesh, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, or the BNP, which had boycotted polls in the year 2014, could win merely 6 seats this time. Now, what does this victory of Sheikh Hasina mean for Bangladesh, for the world, and for India-Bangladesh ties? For more on this, we are joined with Major General Ashwini Sivach, defense expert. Thank you for joining us, sir. Pinak Ranjan Chakravarti, distinguished fellow ORF. Thank you. And Akhilesh Suman, our in-house expert and editor, Foreign Affairs, Raj Sabha TV. Mr. Chakravarti, I would like to start with you first. In the larger scheme of things, as you say, Hasina is back or Hasina roars back, where does this victory take Sheikh Hasina's stature globally? We'll come to micro picture later, but let's expand the avenue and see where does it places her at the global scale.
Well, she certainly cemented her reputation as a strong leader and a statesman, or a statesperson really. And as far as Bangladesh is concerned, I think she's received an unprecedented third term in office, which nobody else has been able to do. And it also shows that Bangladeshi politics has overcome the old political sort of mindsets that put it into 2 camps: the Awami League, so-called secular camp, and the BNP Jamaat, the so-called pro-Islamist camps. I think the new generation has given a thumbs down to this kind of categorization, and they want to move on from this kind of old order of politics in Bangladesh. And I think this victory to Sheikh Hasina signifies that kind of a change among the younger generation. And you will recall that during the War Crimes Tribunal, these younger people who had not seen the atrocities of 1971 had come out in massive numbers to support the government in its endeavor to punish the war criminals, as they call it. So I think this is a very significant landmark for Bangladesh, both in its domestic sort of polity, and of course it's a very significant development for both Bangladesh and India in that sense, for our bilateral ties.
Right. General Sivach, now as Mr. Chakravarti just pointed out, it's a tectonic shift in Bangladesh polls. Do you also consider that this election possibly could be a watershed moment in the country which we prize so significantly?
No doubt about it. Just imagine, when Bangladesh was born in 1971, they were a secular country. But the thing changed in 1975. And thereafter, from up till 1996, they have drifted toward Islamization. And that was the bad phase. And thereafter, once the Sheikh Hasina Awami League has come in power, earlier also, and then again she came, third time she is coming now, the things start changing. She is a secular leader, and she is no nonsense leader. She has brought down the country in a manner that the reputation of Bangladesh has gone very high in the world. One is that economically she has performed very well. you can imagine Bangladesh has been regularly economically developing with a GDP of 6.3%, which is one of the largest in the world. Second thing is, that sea has maintained a very balanced relation between two towering neighbors, that is China and India. The third thing is that sea has able to control the Islamic, organization within Bangladesh. Like this was a major step which one can give a credit to her. And the ISI is trying to take a footstep or a foothold in Bangladesh. She has not allowed that. And Jamaat-e-Islami Bangladesh has been totally isolated. And the fourth thing is that the Rohingya issue, she has handled it very maturely. She has shown to the world that Rohingya is an international issue and she needs to get a help so that the Rohingyas finally can go back to Myanmar with a stable and you can say a secure relationship between Myanmar and Bangladesh will be then developed. So therefore, overall, as far as Sheikh Hasina has come, she has come victorious. Imagine, in 2014, you can say that BNP, Bangladesh National Party, boycotted the election and they realized that was a wrong move. They become more unpopular and they fought this election this time, but they are nowhere to be seen because Sheikh Hasina, by virtue of what she has done in last 10 years, she has won this landslide victory.
Akhilesh, you have followed these elections fairly closely. Now, does it increase the stature and also does it make her more popular, or she has now a lot on her plate considering the internal dynamics of Bangladesh?
Yeah, that everyone was a bit skeptic that whether Sheikh Hasina will make such a mammoth victory because people were expecting that some anti-incumbency must be working. But after the results came, everyone is feeling that it is a big surprise, and it is a pleasant surprise rather, because Bangladesh, what I could feel that Sheikh Hasina was following the politics of development. From the very beginning, she was following the politics of development. And if you talk to Bangladeshi people, they have also a dream, seeing India, the neighbor, India is developing very fast, and China also is the neighbor, China is also developing very fast. And Bangladesh has, people have a dream that we should also develop very fast. So in a way that the whole steps Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina took after, Narendra Modi came to power, the first hiccup was there in Bangladeshi people's mind that whether this land boundary agreement will be signed, rectified by the Indian Parliament or not, because India was one of the major opponents of this agreement. But once it was signed, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited there in 2015, the whole confidence of Bangladeshi people and Sheikh Hasina popularity also gained a mammoth momentum, and people thought that yes, she is the lady who can do something that was stalled for many years. So I think this has increased her popularity in her own country, and this has ensured that she gets this mammoth victory. Rajat?
Yep. I'm sorry, Ms. Chakrabarti, now we have Sheikh Hasina back in office, rather it's a continuation in office. So does it give India a little more room in its ties with Bangladesh, which is on the upswing?
Well, I think it will certainly provide continuity in terms of all the agreements that we have signed, the roadmap. If you read the joint statements during the seminal visits of Prime Minister Modi and, of course, Prime Minister Hasina's visit to India, these lay out a very clear and a comprehensive roadmap of how we see these relationships going ahead. One must also look carefully at the Awami League manifesto, which has 21 points, and these are very, very interesting, points covering almost every aspect of development, but crucially also connectivity, which is one of the main sort of themes of our bilateral ties. Energy connectivity across the board, rail connectivity, road connectivity, energy connectivity, people-to-people connectivity. Bangladeshis are the largest number of visitors who come to India. They are the largest tourists who come to India. Largest number, and so there is a very, very important connect here, and geographically and in the geopolitics of our region, Bangladesh is very, very crucial from both the geostrategic objectives and geo-economic objectives, particularly the Act East policy, the development of the Northeast. All these are ingredients in our sort of broad relationships, including sub-regional cooperation, what we call BBIN, between Bangladesh, India, Bhutan and Nepal, the motor vehicles agreement. All these things are part and parcel of this cooperation that we have with Bangladesh. And this will obviously develop once Hasina, Prime Minister Hasina is back in power. She was the architect of this, and I'm sure she's going to continue.
Akhilesh, what about the impending agreements like Teesta Water, like land border agreement? Now do we see them pacing up? And especially this time around, as we were just discussing that, how India wasn't the issue in the election. Like both the parties in the campaigning emphasized on having good relations with India. So
yeah, that's a really interesting thing, that almost we journalists and reporters always have a pasa to space something that is India related. But in this whole election, you know, that India was not an issue either by the BNP or by the Awami League. And I think that was a, you know, victory of Indian foreign policy. I was talking to Foreign Affairs Ministry officials. They told that yes, we were engaged with both the parties. It is not that we are engaged with only Awami League, we were engaged with BNP also. And whoever had visited, either the External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj, or you know, Minister of State for External Affairs VK Singh, or Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and even Pranab Mukherjee, who had visited in 2013, everyone was engaged with all the political parties. So you know that every political party was thinking that yes, even if I come to power, like a BNP, I am telling that even if I come to power, I will have to have an engagement with India, because without India, now they realize that we cannot do whatever we wanted to do, because China is not the next door neighbor. China is far away. You have different country in between India and Bangladesh and China. So I think this was the major strategy of India and tactical move also of India, that not to show ourselves in this whole election. Some journalists went there, they met Sheikh Hasina also, but the whole writing, if you see, that whole writing was not predictable, that it is going to pro-India election or it is going to be anti-India result. So I think it was a success story of Indian foreign policy in this election as far as Bangladesh is concerned.
General Sivach, we saw in the build-up to the elections in Bangladesh, there was some protest, and that too by youngsters and student group. Now, do we see Sheikh Hasina engaging a lot more with the groups or the outfit which were opposed to her government, considering that she is back and now she's here for good, as these polls establishes, as we hardly see any party coming for a third straight term in the multi-party system. So this is fairly huge in terms of the domestic politics of state, which is so close to us. So do we see Sheikh Hasina engaging more with the opposition, the non-political opposition, I meant?
Absolutely correct. See, Sheikh Hasina is now become a more mature leader. She realized that in case she has to govern, she must take everyone with her. So the maturity demand that she must take the opposition with her, and she should take the student union also with her. So therefore, I have no doubt in my mind that this, as far as her 5-year term is concerned, it is going to be now a game changer. A lot of improvement will be done. First, domestically, she will ensure she takes everyone with her, including the opposition parties, because she has now turned out to be an unchallenger leader. At the same time, she will now like to maintain the best of the relation between China and India and other neighboring countries, because she will try to get the best out of them. Remember, China, after Pakistan in Belt Road Initiative, $42 billion has been given to Bangladesh. And at the same time, what China is doing is Chittagong port has been also developed by them. And Chittagong port is very close to Kuakapu port, which is in Myanmar. From there, a pipeline is going to Yunnan. So therefore, as far as China is concerned, in Bangladesh, we will like to have a best of the relation so that economically, trade-wise, it gets benefit from China. As far as India is concerned, she knows it is the next door. And like point which was brought out, that why the BNP overnight has changed, BNP realized it. If they want to come in power, they must maintain good relation with India. So of late they are trying to change, and they change. They have sent their party, spokesperson here. Certain reps have come. But what I'm considering is, as far as Bangladesh is concerned, relation between Bangladesh and India are going to develop tremendously in these 5 years. 2-3 things which emerge. One is Tista water must be resolved. Second thing is now the connectivity, road connectivity, rail connectivity. Rail connectivity from Itanagar to Akhura, and then Rampal, coal transport, you can say power plant which is coming. Thereafter, the connectivity basically going to our northeast as well as to Myanmar. Free trade between India and Bangladesh. People-to-people contact must increase. That is where things will improve. And second thing is, we must maintain a very tangible relation from defense forces to defense forces, which is very important. Remember what happened? That earlier, as far as China is concerned, it has taken 2 submarines from Bangladesh, has considered taken 2 submarines from China, which was not liked by India. But now of late, India is going all out as far as the defense relationships are concerned, because that 71 war, the relationship between 2 defense forces are unchallengeable. So this must be built up, and now what is happening is that from defense forces to defense forces of Bangladesh, the relation will again further improve.
Akhilesh, just continuing with the Indo-Bangladesh ties and the campaigning in the elections. Now, Bangladesh may soon be getting a nuclear power plant with obviously aid and assistance from India. You think that also somewhat worked in Sheikh Hasina's favor? She was able to display that, look, I mean, I have these challenges and problems at home, but in terms of external affairs, I am no less.
You're right. You know that Bangladesh dispensation had also a dream to make nuclear power plant of themselves, of their own. And you know that Bangladesh has been trying, and India is the first country along with Russia who is jointly working in Bangladesh for that nuclear power plant. So India's role is in that nuclear power plant is very constructive, given the fact that Ropur power plant that they are making, it is closer to Indian border. India normally could have told that it is so, why are you making so close to Indian border? But India respected the Bangladesh's sentiment, and Russia invited India to join in the whole nuclear power plant construction. And India and Russia, it is the first collaboration in Bangladesh as far as nuclear power plant is concerned, and that gave Sheikh Hasina also an edge that yes, she can manage India in such a situation also, where India could have normally said that no, you cannot make it here and it might be dangerous to our whole strategic interest. So the whole goodwill that Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina got out of it, it also created some sort of confidence among the people of Bangladesh that yes, Sheikh Hasina is the person who can deliver in difficult circumstances, and that was one of the most difficult circumstances as far as Bangladesh is concerned, because always the big powers want not to give nuclear technology to the smaller nations, but India agreed, Russia provided, and now Russia and India are doing, and it will be soon coming good nuclear power plant in Bangladesh.
Mr. Chakravarti, among the challenges Sheikh Hasina were able to overcome, or to show that she was able to overcome, where do you rate her in terms of economic development and handling Rohingya crisis?
I think on both these issues, I think I would give her 9 out of 10. I mean, in terms of handling these issues, the economic story is very, very clear. In the last quarter, 7.6% GDP growth, unprecedented, absolutely. And we have to give credit to her economic policies, the incentives, and the whatever financial sort of structures that are there. I mean, there are also missteps and bad stories about bank defaults, but that is there in every country, including ours. So, and the Rohingya crisis, she managed, I think, very, very adroitly, if I may say so. And because she knew that sentiments of the people were for the Rohingyas, there was sympathy. They are co-religionists in the sense that they are also Muslims, and they also retain certain affinities with the Bangladeshi populations in southern part, in Chittagong and elsewhere. So there are affinities there, and clearly, and this is not the first time that the Rohingyas have come into Bangladesh. They came about 20 years ago, and there is a Rohingya community, which still lives as refugees there. So I think that enhanced her international stature, and she was able to leverage the international opinion to get Myanmar to agree to some of the conditions via which these people are supposed to go back. I do not know how successful she will be in sending all the Rohingyas back, because there is fear, there is all kinds of ifs and buts within Myanmar. But I think that she handled it in a manner that created an impression that she is a statesperson, and in a very mature sense, and it also enhanced her own popularity within her country.
General, given that every politician or a public figure has a narrative, now we can say Sheikh Hasina has possibly arrived with a narrative. Is the work still half complete for her on the parameters Mr. Chakravarti just discussed?
No doubt about it. See, first of all, as far as Rohingya issue is concerned, let me point out on that. As far as Rohingya issue is concerned, just two ways that she handled it very maturely. She exposed Myanmar. In fact, she had put pressure on Aung San Suu Kyi, the state councillor of Myanmar, that they have to take back the Rohingyas within a span of 2 years. Environment has to be created in Rakhine province by which the Rohingyas can go back. So on that she is working it. The main thing what has happened is two issues which she did it. One is internationally she has brought this Rohingya issue and got the sympathy of Muslim as well as other states. Second thing is domestically she handled it very well. She has given them all the shelter, given them all the food, everything, and did not allow them to expand from Cox's Bazar. That, that Rohingyas, if they go into Bangladesh, it could have created a problem. So as far as Rohingya is concerned, she handled well. What is now up is that as far as economically it is concerned, there is no denying the fact today Bangladesh is on a correct track. You can say a GDP growth of 7.62. Time and again it is developed. I am sure time it is half full. She has to keep on developing this thing. Bangladesh has a lot of scope on textile it has got, on cottage industry it has got, and now it starts maintaining very good relation with Nepal, Bhutan. India has already allowed that the certain hydro power can be directly sent to Bangladesh through India from Nepal / Bhutan. Then as far as the trade concerned with other countries is also concerned, the Bangladesh is going. The another threat which she has looming large is the Islamic State, as well as those you can say terrorist group which are there. I tell Bangladesh Mujahideen which are there, and so there she has to ensure that the country remains secular, country remains on a path of development, country remains relevant both to China and to India, maintain balance and independent relation both with China as well as India. That is the strong point which Sheikh Hasina has to take into consideration.
Akhilesh, now most importantly, in the internal dynamics of Bangladesh, where does this election result leaves Khalid and the BNP? BNP is, as we know, in Bangladesh's internal politics, it's a main opposition party, fairly important pillar in terms of the multi-party democratic system. Where does this election result leave her?
See, in democracy, you have to participate. In democracy, you cannot boycott. And, the whole BNP was doing the impossible. That if you boycott the election, she was thinking that her popularity will increase. But it has not happened. Even in Philippines, once upon a time, the Communist Party was very popular in Philippines. And then they boycotted and they came to zero. They had to flee to jungles. So the same mistake was done by BNP. And now BNP is finding themselves in a very tight soup. So now the question is that it is not incumbent upon Awami League that how they have to take them in the fold of democracy. Now it is incumbent on the BNP that how she addresses the issue of Bangladesh. instead of showing herself pro-Islamist, pro-Pakistan, she should address the development issues of Bangladesh. She should address the dream of young people of Bangladesh. And you know that one thing I have I have marked. I have gone to Bangladesh border many times. I have seen that distress migration from Bangladesh has almost stopped.
Okay.
People are not coming here just in distress. And another thing that they have started feeling that NRC, I was a bit apprehensive that when we are talking about in Assam about National Register of Citizens, it will be having adverse reaction in Bangladesh. But this did not happen. One Bangladesh minister stood up and he told that it is the internal matter of India and let India handle it the way they wanted. So I think it is now incumbent upon BNP that they should show that they are democratic. They want to address the issues, the real issues of Bangladesh, people's issues of Bangladesh, and they should not show that they are radicals, Islamists, and then it will, I think, again, it will create a bad situation for them.
Right. We have to wrap it up here. So stable, democratic and vibrant Bangladesh is crucial for the region, and certainly this electoral victory of Sheikh Hasina has given a fillip in Indo-Bangladesh ties. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Thank you. Thanks for watching Big Picture.